Hello, welcome to History Forge. My name is Taylor Hamblin, and today we're talking about one of the most important things that we can be doing the first couple weeks of our classroom, and that is helping students be motivated to succeed in our classroom through identity building and really helping them figure out who they are and how they fit into our curriculum. So today I'm going to show you how to incorporate identity building in your classroom to help motivate your students. This is something that you would do in the first couple weeks of school. That way your students know exactly who they're going to be and how they're going to fit into your classroom. We're going to work on portfolios for students. So students are actually going to create reflections of themselves and put it into a portfolio. That way they can look upon it when they're making big decisions about big projects, essays, and other activities you're going to do in your future classes. So where are we at in the current calendar? This is ground zero. We are now in the first couple weeks of school. And so you see on my computer here, I have the calendar. And the way this works is in the videos, I will show you, if I can find my mouse, there it is. I will show you where on the calendar we are in the beginning of the video. So the first 2 weeks, you can kind of see it says day 1, August 22nd. This is from last year, so it won't be accurate as far as the dates for this year, so don't let that distract you. But you can kind of see what I did last year. I had my first 3 days all outlined. Feel free to copy it if you want. I got my other 2 weeks here too, but the resources I show you and the general philosophy of this video will be focused on this first couple weeks in the calendar. So during the first 2 weeks of school, my only job, I feel as a teacher, is to get to know my students, try to learn more about them. And so I do certain activities that will help me do that. One of my favorite ones is called 16 Personalities. So I'll show you on my computer screen right here. In the article that you're seeing on History Forge, if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of activities, but this is the one we're focusing on. It says personality tests. And if we click on it, it's going to take us to the personality testing area. So all you have to do is hit take the test. It's going to show you exactly how it works. So going through, you can kind of see that there's a lot of different questions and things that you can answer. Take it yourself too. It's really fun for the kids to see like what you are. And once it's done, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Once it's done, you go into personality types and it gives you that type. And so there's 16 different ones. I'll click on mine, so I'm a protagonist. And you know, you see the typical Myers-Briggs stuff, ENFJ, whatever. And it just gives you a lot of different information. So the kids are going to take that 10 to 15 minute just, identity test, figure out who they are. And then I recommend to tell them read about it, learn more about yourself. Who are you? What are you doing? What kind of person are you going to be? That's huge for students, giving that opportunity to discover themselves. So go through it. You see on the left-hand side, there's a lot of different categories, I guess is what you'd call it. And some of them aren't going to really matter to them, like parenthood. They might learn something, I guess. But for the most part, they're not going to, really jive with it. Strengths and weaknesses is a really good one. If you keep scrolling down, there's a lot more stuff, too. This site's pretty great. It's free, which is the best part. Going down on the bottom here, you see that there's even, protagonists you may know. So you have real people. You have some fictional people as well. So it's just kind of fun. Really proud that I'm Daenerys, the Dragon Queen. Super pumped about that. They didn't treat her right. But overall, really fun website to check out, so definitely do. If you have any questions about it too, feel free to let us know. If you want more information about this stuff too, make sure to like or subscribe on these videos so we can help you out with it. A lot of teachers are going to ask me, is this motivation building worth it? We only have 180 days, give or take, to actually teach our students, a lot of history, a lot of social studies. Social studies teachers know there's quite a bit of content we have to get through. And I get it. I understand that sometimes we feel like that we need to put on this, pace that's just really high stakes, but I do not think we are actually going to get the students to actually care about the classroom unless we do motivation building, identity building, trying to figure out who they are. And in a moment, I'm going to show you the portfolio setup I have. Students need to reflect on what they're doing, what they believe, their identities. That way they can look back on those reflections later and choose projects. One of the biggest things I'm trying to do with this series is show you how interconnected the things that we do early on are going to affect affect what we do later on. So we want to make sure that students actually see that you care enough about their identities. And another thing, it's really beneficial for a teacher to see all these different like identity activities with the students, because it just takes pressure off you in those first days. Like, you don't need to be the person always talking those 50 minutes to 80 minutes if you're teaching block. Like, you don't need to do that. You can actually just give a 25-minute presentation about yourself, and then just let the students show you who they are. Like, let them answer questions, let them add to portfolios. That way we actually have a good idea of who they are. For example, when my students heard about the Charlottesville race riots that were happening a couple years ago, when they heard about that, they were so inspired by what was happening down there to research it more. So I had that one year, my National History Day projects, more Ku Klux Klan projects than I've ever had, because so many of my students were fascinated or intrigued at the idea that this group, first of all, even still exists, and so they wanted to know how they got started and how they affected different groups throughout history. So that's just an example of how a student's passion can lead them to some really great things. Like, one group that I had that did that, these were students who I would not call history students, or like the kids that would go to a museum on the weekends, but that entire year they would go to museums, they would research at home on the weekends. Like, they would impress me so much, but it was because I put so much time in the beginning to helping them get motivated. The next resource I want to show you is called Issues with the World Discussion. It's one of my favorite things to do the first couple weeks, because it really helps students figure out what they want to do to fix the world. And again, that's how you motivate students, helping them figure out what's wrong with their community and society. And if you can find a way to channel that into your classroom, you're going to find such great resource, and you're going to find such great motivation from the students to just be encouraged to actually do well in your classroom. So it looks like this. It's just, on the Google Docs, it's Issues with the World. You get directions. There's a bunch of links here. Basically, all I'm asking students to do is tell me what's something about the world you would like to fix, or what is something you would like to learn more about. And there's a bunch of resources for them to see the issues. And so this one is an example. It's called I Side With. If you scroll through it, you'll see there's a bunch of issues. Really great website. They have questions below each box to help maybe more explain what the thing is, because some of these issues students aren't going to know exactly what's wrong with that thing. So, or they're not going to know the definition of safe spaces, for example. They're probably not going to know what that really means. Some of them might surprise you, but for the most part you might need to explain. But what you do is you use this and you let students go through it, and you let them record in a portfolio what they're doing. So for example, this would work with 16 personalities as well, but have them record their interests and hobbies, beliefs. Let them go through these sites and check stuff out, and let them dump things into their portfolio. Let them look and just find stuff that you can then look at too. You can walk around the room and check and see what they're doing. This can be some of the very first actual graded activities you do with them too. As long as they're participating and actually putting stuff in here, you're going to learn a lot about your students. And these portfolios, what we do is we take them and we let students use them for their future projects. So for example, if you're doing National History Day or a big project-based learning, you have them look back at their portfolios and be like, hey, what were you interested in the beginning of the year that we talked about? How could that topic be incorporated into your big project? So today I showed you how to motivate students mostly through identity building, strength finding, having those discussion of what is wrong with our community, or how can we fix the world, or your own personality through the 16 personality test. Having those things done is hugely important to actually get students to be encouraged to participate in your classroom. And some teachers might or tell me you know what, our students aren't ready for those kind of conversations, or I'm not allowed to have those kind of conversations in my classroom, like the ones that we saw with the political conversations. You know what? Yes, you are. You are more than welcome to have those conversations. And if you don't feel like your administration or parents or other teachers will have your back, ask them first. Talk to them about it. See if you can build up a support system, because finding ways to motivate these students is going to be huge. And doing it this way, I promise you, will work. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed our conversation about motivation and you got something out of the resources. Remember the two resources I showed you, that was just the surface. I have a lot more, so check out the links in the video description. If you're interested in this stuff, feel free to like this video, subscribe to the channel, make a comment too. If you have questions about any of this, we'd be happy to help you. That's it for me today. Take care. Hey, you. Yeah, you. If you enjoyed the resources in this last video, we did do some other things last year that you might like. So real quick, just show you.
From History Forge.
It's me again.
Glad to be.
So we have YouTube videos from last year that actually go through each week and give you a lot more detail as far as how we planned out with a little more philosophy. There's also some blog articles that we wrote. I will find one. This one called Benefits to a Social Studies Curriculum. And I do even have one that says how to start or how to introduce a social studies classroom. So if you want to know more about kind of motivating your students, check out those resources too. They should help you out. All right. I'm out of here. Goodbye.